Okay, you guys, we're live. It's the Killer Author Club coming at you hot. Welcome to another amazing and fabulous episode. Tonight's guest is the one and only best-selling suspense author, Vanessa Lillie. Today we'll be talking about her new release, Blood Sisters, a visceral and compelling mystery about a Cherokee archaeologist for the Bureau of Indian Affairs who's summoned to a rural Oklahoma to investigate the disappearance of two women, one of them her sister. We have tons to talk about, so grab your questions and your favorite cocktail and sit tight, and we'll see you on the flip side.
Thought you really loved me, guess I was wrong. Thought you'd never leave me, guess I was dumb. Waited like forever to be your plus one, but I guess you were done.
Hi,
Yay.
everybody.
I love the music intro.
Welcome back.
So good.
Our little intro, I know, we kind of like that.
The caricatures are adorable. Like,
Yeah, and we're all
I'm
kind of
obsessed.
fancy like this. Okay. Anyway, I'm Killer Kara Ruda, along with the founding members, Killer Kimberly Bell and Killer Heather Gutenkopf. I'm pointing the wrong direction. And we're so excited to welcome Vanessa to the clubhouse. The Killers and I started the Killer Author Club so that readers like you can interact with some of the best suspense and thriller authors in the business. Killers like Patricia Cornwell, Frida McFadden. Oops, Patricia, we still have a special slide for Patricia. And that one is on November 13th at a special time, 8 Eastern time. All of us should write that down so we don't miss it. Our winter spring lineup also includes Frida McFadden, Nita Prose, Angie Kim. I mean, you guys, we have everybody. It's so fun. And many more killers, so don't miss it. So go to our website and we'll have a whole list of our schedule. Okay, tonight, though, we're here with Killer Vanessa to talk about killing of the fictional kind, of course. Make sure you drop your questions and we'll get to as many as we can during the episode. If you're watching this on Facebook, please go and join the Killer Author Clubhouse. It's our private secret group where we host giveaways and we do a lot of fun things. So we'd love to see you guys join that. We also have a YouTube channel. We're up to like 150,000 subscribers. Not really, but we'd love if you would. That's a lie. But if you came and subscribed there, we'd be very happy and we would smile at you back. So that would be great. Okay. We're also on Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, all those places where you'd like to hang out with us. We're there. And of course, everything that you need to know is on the Killer Author website, killerauthorclub.com. So now, without further ado, Kimberly, will you please introduce our killer guest?
I would be honored to. Vanessa Lillie is an enrolled citizen of the Cherokee Nation of Oklahoma and the author of the best-selling suspense novels Little Voices and For the Best. With 15 years of marketing and communications experience, Vanessa hosts a weekly Instagram live event with crime fiction authors and was a columnist for the Providence Journal. She lives on Narragansett land in Rhode Island. Welcome, Vanessa.
Yes. Hello.
We're
I'm
so
happy to be
excited
here.
to have you here and to talk about your upcoming Blood Sisters, which is out on the 31st. So your Halloween surprise. Could you give us a quick, short elevator pitch for this story?
Absolutely. So Blood Sisters is about Sid Walker, who left her Oklahoma rural hometown, moved to Rhode Island, and has sort of established a new life. She's got a wife who's just become pregnant, and she's happy as an archaeologist working for the Bureau of Indian Affairs. But then there is a badge found and some remains connected to an old crime scene that she just barely escaped as a girl. And so that brings her back to Oklahoma. And at the same time, her sister, who has a pretty serious addiction history, goes missing. And so she's trying to find her sister and kind of uncover what happened in that old crime, decades ago.
I loved it. And I have a lot of questions, and I see a whole bunch of questions already coming through. So we're going to get into that in just a minute. But for now, let's settle in for the killer cocktail of this episode, or mocktail.
So Vanessa, you chose the elderberry martini as your special cocktail. Can you tell us why?
Yeah, so elderberry is a berry / kind of herb that has a lot of antioxidants, and it's used traditionally among the Cherokee and many other tribes and healers. You can use it for a cough medicine or anything like that, but it's sort of like, you put your vodka in, but then you get some antioxidants and good things too. So it like balances it out.
It's the best, of both worlds.
Exactly.
Cocktails.
Yeah.
I mean,
And
let's
it's
not
kind of
fool us.
purple, which is pretty.
So
Pretty. Purple's pretty.
it's
Oh,
really
love it.
good. Well, cheers to you, Vanessa, on
cheers.
another great
Oh.
read, and congratulations.
Oh, you're branded. It's so good.
She's good.
Brandy knows us. Okay, you guys. So, Blood Sisters is earning rave reviews, including in this week's last Sunday's New York Times book review, which said Blood Sisters is about Sid and Emmylou, but it's also about the thousands of missing and murdered Indigenous women whose cases are never solved, if they're investigated at all. This is a quote from the book. This epidemic of girls going missing as a chokehold on Native people everywhere, says Sid's Aunt Mercy tells her. No one is listening, so we got to solve it ourselves. I love that. Anyway, so I'll read a couple more of the reviews. There's so many in here. Okay. Combines Cherokee history and legend with contemporary drug and land problems in a gripping story of missing Indigenous women. That's the Library Journal starred review. And William Kent Kruger, the New York Times bestselling author of This Tender Land, said, it's a tale with all the twisting fury of a tornado. I love that. And I mean, he says lots more too, but you guys, if you're all going to want to read this book, just trust me. Okay. So Vanessa, we'll start with our killer question, which is, who do you kill?
In the book.
In the book,
In your backyard, buried.
wherever it's up for your interpretation. We've gotten a ton of different answers. We ask this question of every guest, so it's either who, where, what, how, why.
And no spoilers. We're not asking you to spoil the book.
No, I mean, I don't usually like to write real bad characters. I think, every villain is sort of the hero of their own story. But there is a pretty bad character in this book, and that's kind of based in reality, because the kind of the heart of the book and like the first opening chapter is this home invasion that happened to Sid, the main character, when she was a girl, and she was able to save her sister Emmylou, but her friend Luna and her parents were murdered in this home invasion. And for me, that was very much inspired by a real crime that happened in the town over from mine. And these two young girls, this would have been in 1999, right after I graduated high school. They actually they were celebrating, one of them was turning 16. It was her birthday. And probably actually 3 men broke into their trailer and murdered their parents and stole the girls. And the police didn't look, dismissed it, didn't believe them. The trailer was lit on fire. They didn't search for bodies. It was a complete miscarriage of justice.
I think I heard about this, and that they blame the girls for a while.
Like a little bit. I think at first they said that there's a really great true crime book about it called Hell in the Heartland by Jax Miller. We actually have the same editor, which is funny. But anyway, they were like, the girls ran away, or because at that point they hadn't found the parents' bodies yet. So they thought there was just like a fire, the parents had left with the girls. It was all very lazy and dismissive at best. And sure enough, as we all know now, the first 24 to 48 hours in missing person cases are the most important, right? And they weren't looking at all. And in this book, she delves into all the different evidence they could have found if they had been looking. So all that's to say that it leads to 3 really bad guys who any of them could die and I would be fine with that. And 2 of them have, and one's left, and he's terrible, and he's still alive and sort of torments the family, saying he'll say where he dumped the bodies of the girls. They kind of think it's in Pitcher, where my story's set, but for whatever reason, maybe he doesn't remember, I don't know, but he does never recover them. So I've watched since 1999 as his family has searched and struggled to like bring their girls home and bury them. And they still haven't found them.
Very sad.
So sad. And you said in your acknowledgments too, hang on, I'm looking for it. Where is it? That 85% of American Indian and Alaska Native women have experienced violence in their lifetime. 85%.
Yep.
That's a crazy statistic.
It is crazy. And that statistic is what's reported. So, it's probably even higher. And, there's others like breaking down into like kidnapping and other types of violence. I mean, it's so much higher than the national average. So it is a real crisis. And it looks different in a lot of communities. And that's why it's so important for people to learn about it and find out what's happening in their own community so they can address it. There's not just like one answer, because there's so many layers of law enforcement. You've got the Bureau of Indian Affairs, you've got tribal police, you've got some cases where tribal police have no jurisdiction, you've got the FBI involved. It's very difficult to have a very clear chain of command and action, and you need to move quickly on some of these cases. And heaven forbid they have a drug problem or have been arrested for something, right? And then everyone's ready to like dismiss them. So there's a lot of really big challenges around it. And thankfully people are kind of, talking about it a little bit more, but certainly it's, still a crisis all over here and really in Canada too. Canada has a huge issue with it as well. I mean, we mirror the same issues on these areas.
Wow.
Well, that's depressing, Vanessa.
It is depressing. I know.
I know it's hard, but it's so good that you're bringing the awareness. I mean, even though it's fiction, I mean, it felt like the story felt so real to me and so important reading it. And so anyway, congratulations for bringing it to light, but also entertaining us. So
that's important too. We do write thrillers, right? So
right.
I think it is important to note, like, when you do your job well, people notice the social justice and they're maybe curious to learn more, but it's not preaching, right? It's just a part of the story. And that's a hard line to walk, I think, for me, because I want to be like preaching about it, but it's,
right.
But to do your job well, I think we have to really make it a part of the story and keep people entertained and turning pages. And so like that is important. And humor is important too. I mean, there's, Cherokee humor, a lot of Native people. I mean, there's that phrase, like, if you don't laugh, you'll cry. I mean, that's a big part of, I think, coming from communities that have storytellers is humor. And, I did definitely try to infuse some humor and some.
Oh my gosh, I laughed out loud a couple of times. And I'm pretty sure every single time it was a scene with Raina. We were talking about her before we came on the air. She tell us about Raina, because she was such a special character.
So Sid has a wild cousin, and I think everybody's got wild cousins. And I just wanted to create a character who represented to me enduring a lot of tough stuff. She'd been to jail and things like that. But, she's working at the casino. She used to be a stripper. She's like making it work, and she doesn't take anything too seriously, other than just being there for her family. And, I think when you can kind of laugh at yourself, there's a little bit of a power to it. So for me, Raina was also just like a little bit of a breath of fresh air. And also she relaxed the main character of Sid a little bit, right? Because they have that old, when you get around your family, all of a sudden you're 14 years old again. So I wanted to kind of show that side of Sid that was actually kind of funny, because so much of her story is kind of intense, but, humor is important for sure. Yeah, I love Raina. She's, stuffs her bra, and I love her.
And the scene at a strip bar or at a strip club, which, my love for scenes at strip clubs.
I do, definitely do.
So Vanessa, like, was this a story you always wanted to tell, or is it like, I mean, how long has this story been percolating? And sorry, that's my puppy.
So for me, I mean, I knew I wanted to write about Oklahoma, I'm from northeastern Oklahoma, where the story is set. And I knew I wanted to write about being Cherokee. But I kind of had to find the right story. And my first two books, I really have to write about whatever is really on my mind. And my first book was about like the dark side of motherhood and like dealing and coping as a new mom with all of those fears. And the second book was more around privilege and generational trauma. And I just like needed to kind of write those. And so in some ways, once I'd sort of cleared the deck in that way, I was able to kind of think about, okay, now what would my Oklahoma book look like? And I really wasn't ready to write it until I sat down to do it. I mean, it took me a while to get the story together and to uncover what kind of character. I also have never written a series before, that's for sure. And so for me to create a character who could be followed through a series was kind of a big deal. Like my first book, my debut, Little Voices, I was talking to my editor about it. And I was like, yeah, what do you think about Devin going on and having more books? She's like, can you just leave Devin alone? I think she's been
Devin.
So I, wanted to create a character that people were ready to follow and could kind of endure and learn and grow as well.
Yeah.
When you talk about uncovering those characters, how do you go about doing that? Is it just tell us about your process for that and why you think that took some time for you?
Yeah, so for Sid, it took me a little while to get her voice. In fact, I just wrote the second book in the series, and it's so flat, like her voice is just not in it. So you would think even after writing a book in which I have her voice, like for me, it just takes a little while to understand the story and then the voice can come.
Yeah.
I just started rewriting it and it's like, she's on the page. Like, it's so funny how it just clicks like that. And so I knew, her, I kind of had seen her as Two-Spirit. I'm Two-Spirit. It's something that is a really kind of beautiful tradition within tribes. And so I wanted to have that be a part of like her story and journey. And if those who aren't familiar with Two-Spirit, kind of what that means is it traditionally is a person who sees themselves with both the masculine and the feminine, and it can identify as queer, but within tribes and tribal history, it is also about just like a respect and reverence, and speaks kind of against our very like traditional binary gender that sort of colonialism like brought in. It's like, oh, you're this or you're that, because many tribes had, men dressing like women or women dressing more masculine or taking on more roles. Like it was just much more fluid. And so it's sort of an appreciation and celebration of that, which I hope to get more into in later books. It's, just a small part of her story in this one. And I kind of saw her wife, Mal, right away. She, really came through to me, and I gave her like a profession that a couple of my friends have. She's an optometrist. I just, things just kind of come in. And then for her parents, for Sid's parents, they're in rural Oklahoma. I knew I wanted one of the parents to be Cherokee and one of them to be white. And, I kind of just ended up seeing it more on the dad side. In my family, the Cherokee is actually on my mom's side. But I incorporated like my main character's name is Sid Walker. Walker is the name of my relative who was on the Trail of Tears. The Walker Cemetery that's in the book is a real place. We have allotment land within our family. So I was able to really incorporate some of those kind of elements that are true to my history. So that was a cheat. No, but it's nice because I could just use kind of real things. And honestly, the more I've been like doing promotion for this book, the more I've sort of been hearing myself talk about how I really like to put as much real stuff as possible in my writing. Like, it's just, I didn't quite understand what an obsession I have with it until I've been talking about it. Because they're like, oh, well, what's real in your book? And then I'll start just like listing everything. And it's actually easier to talk about like what's not real, which is basically the characters.
Right.
And a little bit of the plot. But for me, as a writer, I love researching and figuring out ways to bring that in. And when it's like shocking for a reader, it's awesome because it's like, yes, but that's real.
That
like,
happened. Yeah.
That's really what's happening.
Yeah.
And I love that as a reader and a writer to do that.
Yeah. Same. And Katie wants to know, how long did it take you to research and write this book?
So I had been thinking about it a little bit in like 2019-ish. Just like I have a crock pot is what I call it, my brain, when I'm working on a story, and you just throw different things in and it cooks. But right before COVID, so it was like February of 2020. I remember I went on a little girls trip with my high school best friends, and the first chapter that's pretty much the same in the book just like hit me. And from there, I was really able to start writing it and moving forward. So, so really kind of 2020, I wrote it for about 2-ish years, a lot of editing and revising. So it took a little while. And I think my sequel is probably going to take a little while too, but I think that's okay.
It is okay. Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes books, I mean, Kara can pound out a book in 5 minutes, but some books just need longer than others. Some stories need longer than others to percolate,
Yeah, for me, I think this is sort of a journey that I wanted to take. I wanted to spend time to really think about what my Cherokee heritage means to me and think about the issues that are important around that. And now I'm writing the sequel that's set in Rhode Island, where I live now, and it's all around the Narragansett tribe, which is not my tribe. And so I do feel a real duty to really take some time and think about those issues. And I'm also sort of looking into early colonialism and how does that look now? And that's just kind of heavy stuff. And figuring out how to communicate it well and make it a thriller is just gonna maybe take a little bit of time. But that's why I wanted to do this series, is I wanted to learn and have the opportunity to share what I have learned about other tribes within the lens of, this Cherokee woman that I am.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice, Kelly. Thank
you. I love that.
Thank you. We're 2 weeks away. Exactly. It's crazy.
I know.
Can you talk a little bit? I love the passage about the pecan trees and how. Can you talk about that and why they're so special?
Yeah. Well, except I have to remember. They have the root system, right?
Yeah. They seem to stand alone. Yeah.
So Oklahoma, there's a couple things that they did a nice job on the book. Oklahoma, just has the most beautiful sunsets and sunrise, but especially really sunsets. And I just have so many memories of driving down the turnpike, which is what we call highways. And you look out at the sunset and it's bright pink, and you'll see pecan groves, which is a very particular looking type of tree. And there's a pecan trees, there's a network of root systems under, and they communicate with each other. And I think a lot of that I got from this beautiful book, Braiding Sweetgrass by Robin Hall Kimmerer, which is the most beautiful book. Everyone should buy it. It's actually the best gift you can give to someone. These are essays about how we are connected to nature. And so she just had some really beautiful passages about pecan trees. And then and the system itself, in a drought season, all of the pecan trees will not bloom. It's they're talking to each other and communicating together. It's really powerful. And I also just have a lot of memories of my grandma with her red apron cracking pecans, with her pecan cracker. And so it was just one of those things that felt connected on a couple different levels.
Yeah, I loved it. I could tell. I mean, there's lots of trees do that, and then when the mom tree doesn't take water because they want the baby trees to grow. It's just so magical underneath, but you think of them being alone, but they're not. They're all working together. It's cool. Yeah. I love that.
Very cool. Bradley's here. Just want to give him a shout out.
Love Bradley. Oh, that's so sweet. Brad's the best. Appreciate all your support, friend.
And Sharon's his gorgeous cover.
Thank you. That was a little bit of a journey. The arc, it's up there. Anyways, more orange.
Yeah, right.
And so they ended, and I didn't know they were gonna wash it blue at the end. I love it.
They did that.
I don't know. I literally have no idea. It was orange forever.
Orange inside.
Yeah, there's some orange elements.
Yeah.
But the actual,
they very heavy. I like heavy books.
Me too.
It feels important when it's heavy.
Oh, good. That's what my friend said. The font. They're like, ooh, that font. That looks like an important big book. I was like,
really big font. Exactly. I love it. Okay, Kimberly, I think it's to you.
Oh, is it time? Okay, hang on. I'm not paying attention because Daisy is all over me tonight.
Oh,
She's having one of those days. Okay, so Vanessa is giving away 2 copies of Blood Sisters
Yay.
to U.S. viewers. All you have to do is answer this question about our guest, and we will choose a winner from all the correct answers. Bonus points for joining the Killer Author Clubhouse Facebook group and subscribing to our YouTube channel. The question is, Vanessa is an enrolled member of which nation in Oklahoma?
Ooh.
Could it be? What could it be? You can also play it back if you don't remember, but if you've been listening at all, we've talked about it a lot. So, good luck.
We'll see who gets it right. Yeah.
And if you don't happen to be the winner, well, the Killer Author Club loves independent booksellers, and we appreciate your support of them. Vanessa has selected Inkfish books in Rhode Island, so as her favorite indie. So, Vanessa, can you tell us why this bookstore is important to you?
Oh my gosh, so many reasons. In fact, do you guys want a show and tell?
Yes.
Yes. So Inkfish Books was so let's spill a little tea. The first bookstore I ever went to was not nice to me. The second bookstore I went to was Inkfish Books, and Lisa, the owner, basically gave me a hug, and we've been supporting each other ever since. And so for me, and like every other bookseller has been nice, but my first experience, I was like scared right after that first experience. And so anyway, so when I went in to see Lisa, and she has this beautiful bookstore in Warren, Rhode Island, and she was immediately supportive. She's, I think, literally sold 500 copies of my books. I'm not kidding. She's like hand sell queen. And she does something that is so cool, and it's called the Roadie Reader Box. And it's a book box that supports small local businesses in Rhode Island, as well as one Cherokee business in Oklahoma. So I'm just going to show you what's in it. It also smells good. So she put this like book box together this year, Inkfish did, and you get a signed copy of the book. I'm surprised you can't smell the soap through the camera. It's unbelievable. The Mother Earth soap. There's also a branded Blood Sisters candle that's kind of got kind of a sandalwood, like earthy. We're kind of going for like earthy vibes. There's these like beautiful beaded bookmarks. And then it comes with Cherokee Copper, which is a family-owned copper studio in Oklahoma, and it has actually the Narragansett, kind of like a symbol from their the tribe's museum there. So Lisa put this box together for me. So like, how could she not be the best bookstore owner ever? It's incredible.
Amazing.
Yeah, and I've been to that bookstore. It's lovely.
She's the best, and I'm having my launch party there in 2 weeks, and so it's just, bookstores are the best, and it's when you make those connections and you get to support each other, it's just so much fun. And shopping local is really important, as we've all learned from the pandemic and other things. Like supporting our local small businesses is like the heartbeat of our communities.
Absolutely. And so if our viewers want to go to Inkfish, and they'll be able to get signed copies of your book, and we'll drop the link there along with for Inkfish, as well as bookshop.org. So go out there and get your copy of Blood Sisters. All right. And here we go.
We love serial killers. You're so clever,
Okay, guys, you are Heather. Like Heather does our graphics are awesome. Okay, so obviously we're celebrating a Killer Author Club alumni, and that alumni is Wendy Walker, whose book American Girl is out today. And she's so excited, and she's at her launch event right now, but I've been very excited to celebrate for her. So when American Girl is a pulse-pounding novel about a small-town business owner found dead and the autistic teenage girl caught in the crosshairs. So all Charlie wanted was to graduate high school and leave town, but now she'll have to protect herself and her friends by uncovering the danger that is still lurking in their tight-knit community before she can go anywhere. And guess what? Wendy is offering you guys, one lucky winner from the US, a signed copy of American Girl. So drop a comment and let us know if you're interested in reading her book, and we will pick a winner. And that's not all. We're also celebrating. Dun, 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 dun. Do we have another video? No. Okay.
Just
Well, maybe we do. Okay. As much as we'd love. Okay, just the book. Okay. So as much as we'd love to invite every amazing killer author to be featured on our shows, there are only so many days in the week and Tuesdays that we can have. Okay. So we won't let this evening go by without celebrating a very special release. And it is What the Dead Know by Barbara Butcher. Appropriate name for the Killer Author Club, I think. Okay, this is the fascinating and stunning real life story of a woman who, in dealing with death every day, learns surprising lessons about life and how some of these lessons saved her from becoming a statistic herself. Wow. Fans of Kathy Wright's Patricia Cornwell and true crime won't be able to put it down. So check out her book as well.
Yeah, and I think I have an ARC to give away for that one, so people can drop comments in there.
Books.
Yes.
Books. Love it.
Let the dead know, not the comment. Yeah.
I love
All
it.
right, Kimberly.
All right. And membership has its privileges, you guys. Every episode, as you know, we choose a name from the Killer Author Clubhouse. That's our private group. We choose a name from that hat to win a piece of Killer Author Club swag. We have t-shirts, mugs, candles, totes, hats, all of which can be found at killerauthorclub.com. And tonight's winner is Renee Gorman. Please send one of the killers your address, and we will send some killer swag your way.
Absolutely. And oh my goodness, how time flies. We're to that part of the show where we get to tell you, Vanessa, that you survived the Killer Author Club. And in celebration, we bestow upon you this lovely badge that we will send to you, and you can cut it out and put it on your wall, on your computer, whatever. But you have joined some of the few who have survived the Killer Author Club. So this is what, our 51st show? 50.
Congrats.
Yeah.
Oh my
So, 51st survivor.
Yay.
Congratulations.
I'm honored. This is so fun what you guys do. It's great. I really, really appreciate it. And it's fun to say hi all your fans and friends here.
Yeah, and
We're glad
having you in. Yeah, and I mean, it's going to be huge, and well, it is a huge book. I'm telling you, look how big this is. Okay, anyway, it is great. And sharing. All right, you guys, and that does it for tonight's episode of the Killer Author Club. Thanks everyone for tuning in, and special thanks to Vanessa for being here. We'll be back on a special day and time. Oh no. November 1st with Tori Eldridge and the Ninja's Oath, book 4 in the Lily Wong series. And then on another special day and time, we have an extra special guest, and that's Patricia Cornwell, who will be joining us on a Monday, November 13th at 8 p.m. Eastern time. And you don't want to miss that one. Okay, so if you're confused like I usually get, go ahead and go on killerauthorclub.com. We have the full schedule there, past episodes, recipes, merch. Surf to our website and you'll find it all. Anyway, we'll see you right back here in 2 weeks on Tuesday, November 1st. Thank you for tuning in. Good night.
Yeah. Thanks, everybody.
Wednesday. Ha! November 1st.
I guess I'm a killer through our love into